Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Here's Eddie Frederick.
Welcome to Caribbean Perspective. So glad you can join us. The story that takes the lead in today's edition for Friday, 26th April 2024, and brought to you in association with our friends at Antillian Group. Jamaica's Justice Minister has announced the appeal of the ruling of the court regarding the DPP. Details after this important message.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all, perils big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so glad to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
Welcome back. Jamaica's government appeals court ruling that it is unconstitutional for Paula Llewellyn to remain in the office of DPP after the age of 60. Natalia Clark of CVM News reports.
The Andrew Holness-led administration remained steadfast in its endeavor to retain Paula Llewellyn's incumbency in the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, following a court ruling that effectively nullified a 2-year extension granted to her last year. The Ministry of Justice confirmed on Tuesday the filing of an appeal. Their contention rests upon the premise that Llewellyn, under the purview of the 2017 Pension Act and the amended Section 96, subsection 1 of the Constitutional Act, is entitled to retain her position until reaching the age of 65.
On April 19, 2024, the full court delivered a judgment in the case of Philip Paulwell et al. Against the Attorney General of Jamaica. The court upheld the constitutional amendments, confirming the valid extension of the retirement age for these positions to 65 years. However, despite this affirmation, the court ruled that the current DPP, Paula Llewellyn, could not remain in her position until age 65, creating a significant contradiction within its verdict.
That's Justice Minister Delroy Chuck. He's of the view there is no valid ground on which a change in the retirement age can be approved for all other public offices and for future DPPs and Auditors General, but not for an incumbent.
In response to this conflicting outcome, the government, represented by the Attorney General, has filed an appeal with the Court of Appeal to resolve this inconsistency. The appeal argues for a harmonization of the retirement provisions, maintaining the intended retirement benefits for all affected public officers as per sections 2.2 for the DPP and 3.2 for the Auditor General, in alignment with the Constitution.
The minister, whose resignation was recently demanded by the opposition People's National Party over the ongoing saga, says the government is committed to ensuring all amendments serve their intended purpose.
The government remains committed to ensuring that statutory and constitutional amendments serve the intended purposes without ambiguity or disadvantage to any public officer.
Former DPP Llewellyn ascended to the post in early 2008, clocking over 15 years in the role. With calls for change in the nation's highest legal office, many are raising eyebrows at the government's dogged determination to retain her. Natalia Clark, CVM News.
Former Westmoreland Central Member of Parliament Dwayne Vaz could face corruption charges after reportedly failing to submit requested documents concerning Estella Global Services, for which he was one of the 2 directors at the time. The recommendation formed part of the 20-page Integrity Commission report tabled in the Parliament on Tuesday. Nika Lewis of CVM Live has this report.
The corruption charges could be laid against former Member of Parliament, as Curlin just advised the PNP's Dwayne Vaz, following investigations into matters regarding his statutory declaration up to December 31, 2019. In the latest Integrity Commission report tabled in the Parliament today, the IC says there are grounds for suspecting that an act of corruption was committed, and it is recommending that the matter be taken to the Director of Corruption Prosecution, therefore. It notes, of course, that the Director of Corruption Prosecution may take actions deemed appropriate. However, the bone of contention rests on the fact that the IC says while he submitted his statutory declaration on time, additional information was later requested about a company for which he was one of two directors between 2014 and 2021 based on their findings. It notes that the declaration period ended December 31, 2019 and filed on March 31, 2020. So the IC says the information requested as at November 3, 2020 and November 16, 2020 had to do with financial statements for Estella Global Services for the year ended December 31, 2019. And despite the IC insisting several reminders were sent to the MP, it states Mr. Vaz failed to comply with the Commission's request. And after much effort, and it later fined the MP at the time $250,000 Jamaican dollars to be paid at the Tax Administration Office of Jamaica, the tax office as we call it, and information that was outstanding still to be submitted. So it was a two-clause thing. And the fine is a fixed penalty for allowing the then parliamentarian to discharge any liability of conviction. Now, Vaz just this evening told us on Lead Story a while ago that the news, however, that he was contacted by the IC regarding the dates or issued any reminders were not necessarily so. He also said he did not pay the fine of $250,000. Mr. Vaz also told CVM News that his lawyers are now in dialogue with the IC, which is why he's shocked at the report being tabled today in the Parliament. And nonetheless, the report recommends that the Director of Corruption Prosecution steps in.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick,
in association with our friends at
Antillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
Major shake-up as Morgan resigns as head of Jamaica Labour Party's Public Relations Committee. CVM's Natalia Clark reports.
Resignations, new appointments and reshuffling. All highlights from the Jamaica Labour Party's first Central Executive meeting since the February 26 local government election. Drawing attention was the unexpected resignation of Robert Morgan as head of the party's Public Relations Committee. No confirmation yet for his reasons, and it's understood the party is yet to identify a successor for this pivotal role. Alongside Morgan, the party's two Deputy General Secretaries have vacated their posts.
We have Deputy General Secretary Audley Gordon, who would have demitted office today, as well as Homer Davis. They are replaced by Charles Sinclair, Senator Charles Sinclair, and Senator Delroy Williams.
That's Dr. Andre Franklin, the party's Deputy Chairman. He also advised the CVM News that Darrell Vaz, who already heads a ministry in charge of 4 portfolios and is Member of Parliament for Rural West Portland, is to head the party's treasury, replacing Senator Aubin Hill, Minister of Industry, Investment and Commerce.
We made an addition to the Secretariat, where we have now Senator Aubin Hill that will be joining the Secretariat. The Treasury, we thanked our Treasurer, who worked very diligently, meticulously in the last election, Aubin Hill. And he's to be replaced by, Member of Parliament Darrell Vaz.
Dr. Franklin says members of the party's Central Executive on Sunday voted unanimously for the changes. But what exactly prompted the reorganization?
The time of our officers are required to be on the ground to get things done. There are some areas where the natural synergy is easier than in other areas for other persons. So the best skill sets were put to the test today, and the meeting voted unanimously to make the necessary changes.
What the General Secretary, Dr. Horace Chang, sought to add is that now both his deputies sit in the nation's upper house of Parliament. The meeting of the Central Executive lasted just a few hours, with party leader Andrew Holness arriving minutes before 1 p.m. and leaving mere minutes after 2. The deputy chairman assures there is no friction in the party and labels the meeting as a good one.
So today was a very good day, a day that we analyze all the factors, and we are now even more united, more dedicated to make the necessary changes a reality.
I'm Natalia Clark for CVM News.
In other news, a 31-year-old father of 2 and a 33-year-old father of 3 were gunned down on Simon Trace, St. Mary's Village, Moruga on Monday evening. More from this TV6 News item.
According to police reports, the victims, Oba Gill and Brandon Senath, both fish vendors, were killed outside Gill's Simon Trace home around 5:30 in the afternoon. Investigators say based on interviews, the men were in the garage area of the home when several loud explosions were heard, and the men's bodies were later found. Gill was found slumped in a chair while Senath was found on the ground. Both men had gunshot wounds about their bodies. Crime scene investigators recovered 10 5.56 spent casings at the scene. Gill's mother told TV6 News today that Oba is her third son to be shot dead.
I just want to say my child was a loving child. Every Sunday, when I cook, I'll miss him. Because no matter what you wife cook, he's coming to eat, to the nation, to the country. Remember, keep on praying for your children. Because today they're here, and tomorrow they've just been snatched away from us.
When we visited Senath's Douglas Trace home, his relatives said they believe he was at the wrong place at the wrong time. Investigators believe the murders were drug-related.
The Trinidad and Tobago Police Service is conducting a program geared towards addressing school violence called the Conflict Resolution Secondary School Caravan. TV6's Nicole M. Romani has more.
Woman Police Corporal Sasha Williams Goddard appeared on the TV6 Morning Edition. She said the program is in its third week and is tailored to suit the problems at each individual institution, adding that it is all part of the police service's agenda to be more hands-on.
We've seen the school fights videos, we've seen the issues, the social media posts, we've seen them, and we understand that there is a challenge with students and violence. We understand that there is a need that needs to be addressed. And of course, the TTPS, we are not just into the reactive anymore. We are also very proactive. We're trying to hit these issues from its root causes.
Meanwhile, Janice Decoto, founder of the Officium Trinidad Limited, who is also part of the program, said it's about working with the TTPS to help the youth make better decisions.
We came as someone to undergird the work of the police service. So what we did is that we added ADR, which is Alternative Dispute Resolution and Mediation Services, and principles to the toolkit of policing. So what we do is that we go into the schools and we teach them. We teach the young people about anger management, understanding your triggers, your biases, and that things.
WPC Goddard said 50 schools have been targeted, and they will be heading to Tobago next week. Nicole M. Romani, TV6 News.
Hi, I'm Eddie Frederick, wishing you a restful weekend. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean.
In the meantime, please follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel for daily regional news and more, in association with our friends at Antillian Group.
Believe in our strength. We'll stand by you. Protection from all perils, big and small. Reassurance we give. It's so glad to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.